Hi and welcome. Our next guest, you'll be pleased to know, is somebody that all of you would have heard of. She is the trusted advisor for the BBC program The Apprentice. Her first job was for 12.5 pence. She went on to start her own business and she actually ended up selling that for millions of pounds. I'd like to welcome Linda Plant. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Junior.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for joining us today and giving us this time. So let's go straight into it. So my first question to you is this, and because I just want people to get to know a little bit more about you. So my question is this: what is the one question that you have never been asked before, but would love to answer? So what's the one question you have never been asked, but you would love to answer?
Right, that's a tough one, actually. So the one question I've never been asked before, but would love to answer, I guess has to be, do you think that, I've been asked it in various forms, I've never really been asked, do you think that working and being a mother, do you think it was detrimental to your children's development?
Oh, interesting. And what's the answer to that?
No.
No.
The answer is no. I've been asked various forms of it, but someone never really said this. How have you liked? How has it been? The answer is no. I managed to be a mother, and I managed to be at the forefront of business in times when women were not, and when most of my contemporaries were just mums.
Right, excellent. Thank you ever so much. So let's now get into the questioning. So what do you think will happen once furlough ends in October in relation to unemployment and redundancies, and why?
Well, sadly, I think that when furlough ends, there will be a lot of redundancies, simply because, and I am quite an advocate of getting people back to work, because I think our small businesses can't survive if we don't have people back into the cities and into working. Then what's going to happen to our small businesses? And they really account for quite a chunk of our workforce. Right. And then my worry is, with the high street being so quiet, and that's what's going to happen, then we'll have more redundancies. And that is my worry. So ultimately, I worry about the economy, which is what part of the reason, only part of why I want to see the workforce actually coming back to work, to keep the small businesses going.
Right, excellent. Thank you ever so much for that answer. So what are the benefits of starting an online business right now?
Well, I think that you have to look at the industries that are thriving and surviving. Yeah. And personally, for someone like me, before lockdown, I'd never actually done much online. I never really knew much about Amazon. Now I'm online all the time. So I think the point is that online businesses, it's competitive, but look at the online businesses, and this is a way, when people are locked down, when people are not going out, this is a way you can reach everybody with your product, with your service, because it doesn't matter if you're in lockdown, if you're shielding, you can get on your computer and the world is open to you. Just as we're speaking now, just as we have never personally met, but through online we have. So that's part of that's what I think.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much. That's a fantastic answer. My next question is in two parts. So the first part of this question is, what has been your biggest learning to date? So what has been your biggest learning to date? And the next part of that is, what has been your biggest regret?
Well, my biggest learning to date is actually starting my own online academy, right? From someone who really is not been, I couldn't say I have been all my life technical. I'm a trader. I certainly am not technical. So starting an online business, writing a course and developing an online business has certainly been very, very challenging for me.
Right.
What was the other part of the,
And
and what's the other part? The biggest regret?
The biggest regret.
Well, I wrote it in the Mail on Sunday yesterday. When I was in the fashion business, John Hargreaves, who owns Matalan, was one of my customers long before he had Matalan, when it was J-Max. And he asked me for £250,000 to invest in his new venture, Matalan. And it was a lot of money in those days. And the truth is, I wanted to invest in my own business. So I didn't invest in his. And I had dinner with him last year, and he reminded me that the £250,000 would be worth £300 million today. So that's been my biggest regret. And I think it's a bit of a regret.
Yeah, a little bit of a regret. Just a little bit.
Correct. A monumental regret.
Absolutely.
But, you know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we've got the final question for you. And it's this. So if you had to start all over again, so you've got nothing, so you're starting completely from scratch in this current economy, what would you do and why?
Well, I think in this economy now, I'd use the skills I've got. I'd look at what's thriving and surviving now. I would start my own business, as I advised you to, Junior, in line with maybe you need a job. Look at what you're good. Look at what you're good at. Look at what you love, and what you love and what you're good at. Can you turn that into a business? What talent have you got? And that's what I would do. And obviously, in this environment, I would try and make that an online business. So I would take anything that I love. What am I passionate about? What do I love? Can I turn this into a business? Because you can love something, but does it translate into making money? And then I'd take all that experience, everything you've got, and I would start my own business. And I would probably start it online. But I certainly look at the industries that are surviving now, because, you know, we're in a changing world. And I think, I mean, I'm the one that always says, you know, this isn't the new normal for me, but some of this is going to remain with us. Some of these changes are going to remain with us. And we have to pivot and transfer our skills. And that's what I would do.
Excellent. Thank you ever so much. So we've come to the end. Thank you so much for your advice. Again, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have started my own. So thank you so much for that. So if anybody wants to, that's watching this now, and if they wanted to find out a little bit more about what you're doing right now, what would they need to do?
So if they go to lindaplant.com, they can see that I'm starting an online members club, which I'm going to continue sharing all my tips, all my talks in a club. It's only £20 a month. It's opening on the membership. I'm opening with a webinar on October the 14th, and we'll be closing it on the 26th, when I'll give my first talk. So you can become a member of my club. And also I've written an online business course, which I like to say is more like my life story. Right. No graphs, no jargons, just true grit of business. You can buy my business course, and I think it will take you a long way. So that's lindaplant.com is where you should go.
Fantastic. And what I will do, just to make it easier for everybody else, I would actually put that on the comments below, so they know exactly how to find that for you. So again, thank you ever so much for spending this time with us, Linda.
Thank you, Junior. And you know, I keep following you now. You're in my heart. So I just want to see you go from strength to strength. You're a great guy.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.